The new strategy was flawed, complex, poorly reviewed, poorly executed, and poorly monitored. The portfolio has proven to be riskier, more volatile, and less effective as an economic hedge than we thought.
Today, JP Morgan admitted that their losses amount to at least $3 billion and could be more. They were caused by the trader Bruno Ixil, who earned the moniker the London Whale because of the size of the transactions he made. Ina Drew, the head of the office behind the trades, quit the bank this week as it fought to contain the losses. It's hardly the first financial scandal to hit these markets. Earlier this year, there was a collapse of US investment bank MF Global after billions of pounds of disastrous bets on European government debt. Since the financial crisis, there have been sweeping changes to bank regulation, but critics argue that big bonuses, big risks and big losses seem as common as ever.
Well, Nassim Taleb, Professor of Risk Engineering and author of The Black Swan, is in New York, and thanks for speaking to us this evening. We've seen this happen, it feels, time and time again. Why do the banks let it happen? Do they not know about it? Do they turn their back on it? Or do they not understand it?
I think all three. Number one is primarily incompetence. They don't seem to know what they're talking about when they talk about risk. And we've known since 1998 that the tools they use to manage the risk don't work. We've had the tragedy of LTCM, long-term capital management, a firm visibly that got the wrong name, that went bust with, because they were relying on these tools. And we kept using the same methods. In 2007, of course, we discovered that these measures, again, these risk metrics don't work. And they're relying on these risk metrics. So what Mr. Diamond said is nonsense. They are using the wrong tools. It's not a fluke. It's part of a system. In other words, it would happen elsewhere. They're building bridges, telling us these bridges can handle 500 trucks, and they break at the third truck. So visibly, we are building a risk, using wrong metrics, and what is worse, using taxpayers' money as a backstop. And this is what's bad in it. They don't want to learn. Yeah.
I want to get onto that in a second because that's absolutely key. But just looking at this example, I mean, it's a very complicated derivative system. But broadly, this man, the London Whale, was trying to balance the risks. He was trying to make it impossible to lose. Why would that go wrong?
No, number one, the entire apparatus is based on a big illusion, the fact that we understand the risk of rare events. It's a business they should not be in. It's too complicated for them. And we've known that this business is too complicated for Wall Street, for the banks, for all banks. We've known it's very complicated. They should get out of that business. JP Morgan should concentrate on lending money to farmers, make car loans, and that's it. That's the business they should be in. They should not be using my money to play in something that's way too dangerous and too complicated for them. You see, and JP Morgan has about 10 times to 15 times the risk of the regular hedge fund.
So let me get this right. Are you saying they should be more regulated, or are you saying they should be allowed to go bust when that goes wrong?
Well, both of them. When the event happened, I'm against nationalization, and I'm against centralized government, and against regulation, because I was a derivatives trader for 20 years, and derivatives trader can game regulation. And what I wanted is the following: I wanted skin in the game. People, when they make money, they should have. If they have the upside, they should get a bonus, and people should be harmed when they have the downside. Hedge funds have that. So the thing is, the risks that are pure risks, gambling, if you will, these risks should be borne by hedge funds who have upside and downside. And banks, if we are bailing them out, okay, it's because they are utilities. So why not treat them like utilities? I don't understand why we've been bailing out the banks since 1983, and they are utilities.
But
and it's a transfer of funds. Yes.
You know that you will never convince the banks to leave that side of stuff alone. I mean, if it didn't happen as a result of Lehman's, it's never going to happen, is it?
Okay, of course. As Montaigne said, you can never convince a general that war is not necessary. But that was Montaigne's days, and he was citing a 1,000 years earlier statement. You never can ask an industry. We can force it on it. Number one, I think that we should not have bailed out the banks so easily. In 2008, without explaining to them that de facto they are civil servants. If you're bailing them out, okay, they are civil servants. They went to pay themselves the highest level of bonuses in 2010. Okay, it's an insult to our intelligence. Using these metrics is an insult to our intelligence, and these bonuses are an insult to our intelligence.
But do you think the bank should not have been bailed out at all at that point, knowing what you know about the way banks operate and behave?
Two things should have been done. The first one, either you don't bail out we didn't bail out Lehman, okay, we saw the effect, then came Citibank, okay. We should have then bailed out Citibank on a very stiff condition, explaining to them that, you de facto, we don't want to nationalize you, but de facto you're owned by the taxpayer. You are no longer, okay, a free entity. And I don't mind.
And
risks being
forgive me,
but yes.
You're an idealist. You know that no politician.
I'm not an idealist. I'm not an idealist. I'm someone who doesn't want to be paying this $14 million for this lady, Aina Drew, okay, which is more than John Gotti, the mafiosi got. I don't want to keep paying
And could you convince any politician to say that?
Risks.
Could you convince any politician to say that?
Well, I mean, the politicians visibly don't have the courage to face lobbies, but the public is convinced that they don't have the information. And Ron Paul had the idea.
Nassim Taleb, thank you very much indeed. Thanks for joining us tonight. Well, that's all from Newsnight tonight. This morning, Donna Summer died in Florida. She was called the Queen of Disco by some, and just to get you in the right mood for bed, we'll leave you with one of her biggest hits. Good night.